If that intro doesn't get your juices flowing every single time we come in here on a Wednesday night, then I don't know how to help you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday evening. My name is Jamie Conboy, and I am joined by Neil Alexander tonight. Hello to you, sir.
G'day, you beautiful man. G'day, people. How are we?
I'm sure everyone out there is very well, and welcome to chat to the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series, round 2. We're at Spa, and it is super moist.
Oh, that is going to be very interesting tonight. I had a couple of messages during the week saying you should make it wet to spice things up. But sim racing gods are shining
The
down on us.
conspiracy theorists are out in force now, here and that. Hang on.
No, they should know by now. I don't actually like wet racing. Just like I don't like pineapple on pizza.
You don't enjoy watching wet racing, or you don't enjoy racing in the wet?
I like racing in the wet more than I like watching it. Just because sometimes, after a little while, the battles kind of just sort of peter out a little bit. But at Spa, well, it's going to be interesting viewing no matter what.
Yeah, agreed. Every car seems to space out a little bit and there's not as much battling, but it is a different sort of battle trying to keep your car going on the straight and narrow in the wet, so I enjoy it. It is definitely much more fun to race in the wet than it is to watch in the wet. But of course, 2 races coming tonight. Got the reverse grid happening tonight, so there'll be a 20-minute sprint at the start. So of course, we'll start with qualifying, and then we'll do a 20-minute sprint, followed by the 40-minute race with the reverse grid top 12. And yeah, very much looking forward to the reverse grid shenanigans at Spa as they head up Eau Rouge and rowdy on for the second time this evening. Those reverse grid top 12s, they'll be really keen to get their positions back as soon as possible. So looking forward to the second race especially.
Oh, absolutely. You sort of just see the rain at the moment. In 10 minutes it's meant to be just cloud cover, so it might clear up for qualifying, but it is ACC and anything can happen between sessions. JP, that livery is absolute top tier.
I like its simplicity. What is it? Can you tell me what it is?
I couldn't tell you. Let me have a bit of... it's a John Player livery?
So is that a cologne, or what am I... I'm missing something.
Okay, so it's not the actual livery, so we're allowed it, but John Player's pretty sure it's cigarette brands, isn't it?
But
he's gone all out. Like, he's Page average racer. Like, he's had a crack, and I appreciate all of that. There's been a few other ones added this week. I just want to quickly show you an absolutely terrifying one. That's
Brock Godfrey's.
It hasn't improved.
A solid discussion about that one last week.
I mean, you've got a beautiful face, Brock, but maybe not on the car.
Have you had a good look at it, though? There's actually multiple faces, and they're not all the same. I don't know if he's got his family on there or what's happened, but there's actually different faces on there.
Yes.
All stretched res. I tell you what I like about Page's livery, if indeed you're right, and it is off-brand cigarettes, not actually cigarette branding, is that he's matched up with his brother, who's also done a not actually cigarette branding car. So they're both in not really cigarette branding cars.
Yeah, which is good, because we don't like to support anything like that.
No, of course.
But we do support God-tier liveries, and they're pretty decent. I just want to point your little beady eyes to the weather widget.
More rain.
Yes. This qualifying session will be dry, but on the horizon in 30 minutes, well, between 10 and 30 minutes is some rain, which may mean race 1 will have a bit of moisture to kick things off. But again, it also might not.
Also noting that there's a green track out there at the moment, so we wouldn't expect the qualifying times to be anywhere near what they've been in practice, at least early on in this session. It does go for 11 minutes. I'm not sure how this track will develop over the next 10 minutes, but it's a green track at the moment, so no rubber on the track, no rubber assisting the drivers around the course. It's not an optimum condition, so there won't be red-hot qualifying laps.
Yeah, we'll say that and you watch this. They'll just do it anyway. Who cares about the track? We don't need grip. But I would not expect the same times to be set as we saw earlier. Megan D joining the Sprint Series this round. I think we see Scott Blair making his return.
Nice. Couple of familiar and friendly faces making their return.
Disappointed you didn't bring your custom livery there, Scout. But there's always next week. What other faces do we see out there tonight? 41 out on track. Very solid turnout. This man, Ashland Reynolds, he would be hoping for the rain. Loves it in the wet and loves the Nissan. He's one to watch if it gets wet. And who else is out there? Dabby fresh off P3 last week. JP fresh off P1 last week. And his brother John. Hopefully he can nail these. Oh, he doesn't need to nail pit stops because there's no pit stops tonight. So maybe John has a chance.
Oh, too soon. He's probably still hurting after last week. Of course, we had 2 pit stops last week at Alton Park, and the second one didn't quite go to plan for John. We didn't catch exactly what happened, but he was in front of his brother when they went into the second pit stop, and then he came out probably 3-4 seconds behind, and that battle had fallen over. So it wasn't the ideal start to the series last week for John. But P2, nothing to sneeze at. He's still well and truly entrenched in the battle, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure he's moved on. As JP said, he's just bottled it, and JP doesn't care because they've handed JP the win. So hopefully maybe tonight we'll see JP's streak come to an end, but you can't discount the fact that he's got a chance to win it again.
If there was any car track combo that could get it done here for John, it is the Honda at Spa. It is particularly strong here, and I've watched John in practice a little bit this week, and whilst he is extremely quick when he gets it right, he's also prone to a few mistakes. The Honda is prone to mistakes. I won't say John is. The car itself is a little tricky to get around here in one piece, so to do it for 20 minutes and then for 40 minutes consistently, it's going to be a big effort from John if he can get it done tonight.
Oh, absolutely. In saying that as well, with the Sneakers brothers, I don't think JP is a big fan of Spa. Is John a fan?
I don't know about John, but I know the Peach is definitely not a fan
it's
at
not
all.
on the Christmas card list. But who else out there is a sneaky chance? Samwise in the Audi. He's pulled the pin. He's already over Spa. Fair enough. Matter. Who else is in the Honda? We touched on Godfrey before, and that beautiful face he has. Gee whiz. Which one's more beautiful? Rugrasses in Split Ascari or Split Beckett's, or this one?
Oh, they're both pretty tough to look at, I'm not going to lie.
A car only a mother would love, something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's spot on.
So this is the last week of the provisional classes. Next week you'll see several drivers have their classes changed. Those that made through to the Pro Series finals. If you're not pro in this series and you're racing, guess what you're getting next week? A big old pro badge. And congratulations to all of you that did qualify. 40 entrants made it through to the big dance, which starts on November the 19th. So stay tuned for more information regarding that if you made it through. I can't wait for that. JC, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Most keen for that series coming up in November. That'll be prime time Saturday night content. So very much looking forward to that for sure.
Very, very spicy. And obviously we've got Silverstone 6 hour. The grid is set for that coming up on November the 5th. 6 hours around Silverstone.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. In fact, we've got a lot of Silverstone coming up. We've got the F1 Legends Series has an endurance event at Silverstone around about the same time that the 6 hours is kicking off for the ACC endurance event. Of course, we've got real life Silverstone, which wouldn't be too far away from that. I think they overlap, don't they? And I feel like I'm missing something. The Sprint Series is also heading to Silverstone for its weekly run. So there's just a lot of Silverstone coming. And if you enjoy that track like I do, we're all for it.
Yeah, that kind of how it works sometimes. It lines up like that. I remember we had an Imola 2 weeks. It was just 2 weeks of Imola across all platforms, all series. I don't think the real F1's racing at Silverstone. They've already passed it, so
We've
that's
already
just
gone, yeah. Apologies.
So the F1's got the real F1, Brazil, or Mexico, Brazil, Abu Dhabi. Then obviously we slit in our other little tracks, like Silverstone. Hopefully I'll be able to participate this Sunday. But did you say the F1 Silverstone Endurance is on the same weekend as the ACC?
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's the way you've lined it up.
What an idiot I've done myself in there, haven't I?
Yeah, pretty sure Darboles will be going on holiday that week because it's his least favourite track, and he's already throwing up at the thought of one race there, let alone having to spectate a couple others. So
yeah, at least it's only a 6 hour.
The time's slowly starting to improve here. Peach has just gone up to the top of the 2:18.9, which is 4/10 clear of anyone else. So Peach with a pretty handy lap there, you would suggest. Of course, a 2:18.9, nothing that's going to blow down the top of the Pro Tabs. But of course, as I said before, we're on a green track. So it's hard to gauge exactly what times we are looking for here. With 4 minutes to go, it's certainly not going to get to optimum. The track's not going to evolve too much more. So 2:18.9 could be a pretty good time there for Peach.
Yeah, I don't see them going too much quicker with 4 minutes left and still green. I am seeing a few green deltas popping up on the timing sheet. Hignett currently 6/10 up. That is a nice little slide. Was that through No Name? He's 6/10 up, so he's got a big chance here to snatch that pole position. JP's currently 2/10 up, so wait and see. Megan D, first race of her season, P4 at the moment. Cadillo, I think Cadillo had one to forget last week, but currently P5. Scotty Blair's got himself up into P7 on his first week and last week's P3's Babby, who is currently P10. Any standouts there that you're not expecting?
Not that I wasn't
Jared
expecting
Ellis?
it. I am very happy to see Jared Ellis anywhere near the top 10, so very pleased with that. I'm not sure how he sneaks into Pro-Am, Jared. I think you're underselling yourself a little bit there, my friend. I am as I said, I'm not surprised, but I am pleased to see Cardillo up there in P5, as you said, after a rotten week last week in the Mercedes. He's come out in the McLaren this week, and he's familiar with that car, and it's reasonably strong here too. So he was doing really well last week in the Alton Park sprint races until it all came unstuck, of course. So clearly got the pace. He's always been pretty strong, so looking forward to seeing how he goes tonight.
Yeah, currently sitting in P5. This is kind of an out lap for him. Megan D's up 7/10 on her lap. One Porker says stick death. I reckon that's about right. Yeah, bang on. There's more Nissan in here than Pork and Lexus combined. So go figure.
There's as many Chevrolets as there is Porsches.
Chevrolet. Zachy Malloy, where the hell is Hay? Don't know what that means, but I've read it out now. Probably just trolled myself. As he goes,
What?
P12.
Where the hell is... I don't see that. Oh, I've got
It's
top
just
chat on.
team
I've got
name.
live chat on.
Team name.
Oh, okay.
Here's our lone Porsche. Sean Glover, one beautiful half of 2T Racing. Those guys will be competing in the next Silverstone 6 hour. Currently P14. It's really spicing up between P4 and about P16. About 8/10 or just the gap then. Reynolds is currently sitting 16th. I expect that to improve. Damn, son. So, are you going to get your Nissan slander out of the way quickly?
I don't do it every week, and personally I don't have a huge problem with the Nissan. I just find it funny that there's a cult that's starting to build within OR when they're all in there dancing around campfires telling each other how good the Nissan is. It's not slander, I'm all for it, hey, I just...
Bang, there's the Nissan goes P3!
I don't know, each to their own. I like following a Nissan around.
When I'm going to get you out of the McLaren. It's not bringing you any luck, that car, mate.
I did hear you discuss that last week. I'm sticking with it. I feel pretty good here at Spa, but actually I felt pretty good at Alton too. You know what? It's nothing to do with the car. I just get nervous in races, and that's all that happened last week.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, mate.
Nothing to do with the car.
I was definitely sharing the positive mojo towards you, but it didn't work. As Samwise goes P3. Bang, bang. Very spicy up the top there. We've got 17 seconds left, so you can get another lap in. What about BMW then? There's quite a bit of BMW action. That'll always be pretty popular. I still remember when the BMW M6 used to be garbage. Those were the days, weren't they?
Can you let me run in the M6? If you let me run in the M6, I'll switch cars tomorrow. I know the answer, which is why I've just put that out there.
Yeah. Did you say you want to go on the Aston V12? All right, no worries.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun in the M6 I think it was my first ever endurance event was in the M6 at Misano, and that was it was a baller. No, my first was Paul Ricard, but it was the one after that. M6 was a beautiful car. Sounds very nice. Great chunky downshifts. Very good car.
Chunky. Rip the M6. On board with Hignett. Trying to get back onto that front row to split up the brothers. He's up 2/10 at the moment, but that will not be enough to get him on the front row. Got Sneakers, Holmes. JP is in the pits. John is up 2/10. Oh, where's John? John's coming around the last corner.
Ooh.
Here's a chance to pip him again and get pole position for back-to-back weeks.
Didn't use all the track here at bus stop, but
he's done it. Wow, he smashed him. Bang, bang.
Amazing. Just saying, that bus stop didn't look particularly quick, but he's obviously found a lot of time in that last sector somewhere. And as you said, 3/10 the gap. He's clearly got a handle on that lap.
Yeah, track evolution is obviously going to happen, but it wouldn't have played much of a part. He just absolutely nailed the lap. Sam Moss is up 2/10. He may get... No, he won't. No, he'll improve, but he won't improve position. 2:18.9. Cardillo is sitting in the top 10 for now. Now, the first race is a 20-minute race. Race 2, we have a super qualifying preceding it with the top 12 going straight through to the next race in reversed order.
Sean Glover just improved up to P6. Handy little lap there on the deck with the Porsche. Another one who had a good week last week too, Sean Glover. Cardillo up to P4. Nice.
Bang.
Good result there for Tim too.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, Glover with the Pro-Am badge there might be looking a little cheeky promotion. As I said, he had a good week last week at Alton. And again here tonight, looking pretty impressive in the Sol Porsche. Hello!
Hello!
That is
if you look at the
a
top
very
10,
wet spot.
Honda, Aston, Audi, McLaren, BMW, Nissan, Porsche. We've got 7 manufacturers in the top 7. Wow,
Yep, 7.
that's great.
That's great. Very nice spread.
We've got only a short little splatter of rain here. It ends between 10 minutes and 30 minutes. So will it go to the end of the race? We just cannot tell you. So you've got to keep your eye on that 10-minute mark. Once that turns into a cloud, that's when we know it'll be 10 minutes before the rain finishes. So very interesting start to this round here at Spa. And I'm sure this is going to bring a few drivers unstuck.
I've always wondered whether that weather radar is set. So whether if it says at the moment that those clouds are 30 minutes away. Now, I know that necessarily doesn't mean 30 minutes as well. But let's say, for example, 10 minutes down the track, can that weather change? Can the future weather change, or is it running on a timeline and it is set?
Oh, it's set, yeah. That's exactly what will happen. You might see in the 30 minutes time it'll change to a rain and then disappear again. That just means in 30 minutes there's going to be a 5-second shower. But again, that doesn't ever happen. What event was it? Was it Paul Ricard where we had the variation of rain?
We've had a couple. Bathurst was so good. Bathurst, I think, at the start of the year was just the perfect weather. It was on and off. It was just challenging. Very good stuff.
Rain to wash away the blood. That's a term I'm trying to not say as much in sim racing. Is death or he's died. It's so hard to not say when it comes to someone having a bin.
You're trying not to say it as much anymore? When did that happen? That's not a directive I've heard.
No, it's just me trying not to say it as much because obviously when it actually does happen in IRL and someone does pass away, it's triggers some emotions for people. But I'm just trying to think of other words to say.
Oh, I think that's the beauty of it, though. We all know that we're in here just playing pretend pixel racing. It's not actually death-inducing, so I feel like it's a good place to vent that sort of action.
Speaking of, no, I don't know why I'm saying this. Do you think anyone's actually died of sim racing? That'd be. I'll say that because there was a poor radio host in the UK who passed away live on air. Big shout out to he streams from his own house and unfortunately had a heart attack. So shout out to him and his family. That's not a nice way to go, but at the same time, he was doing what he loved. But yeah, that's not a common thing. I forget his name now. I feel like an asshole.
Has anyone died sim racing again? That'd be the same sort of thing, though. If they're sim racing, they probably died doing what they love. It'd be traumatic for their family, but I wouldn't mind going out that way just quietly.
Oh, don't be doing it, though. No deaths, please.
Not anytime soon.
So, 20-minute race. We've got at least 10 minutes of rain. At least. Rain does get a little bit lighter in 10 minutes. So, let's have a prediction. Do you think rain will be prevalent throughout?
No, I think there'll be a 5-minute dry period at the end, but it won't obviously dry out enough for a pit stop or a dry tyre change or anything like that. So everyone's going to be out there on the wet tyres for sure to start the race. I do think there'll be a dry period at the end, but I think that will be cooking the wet tyres as opposed to people coming in for dries.
Yeah.
I've got one for you.
I'm going to say you're to sweat the whole way. Yep, go.
Is there going to be a safety car lap 1? Taking into consideration what we've already discussed, when it is raining, people back off a little bit and they're a little bit more safe. So, with that kind of knowledge, is there going to be a safety car here at lap 1?
Absolutely, JC. Absolutely. I've got the race start, so you're doomed.
No, I'm going to suggest that Sunset gets through this cleanly with no safety cars. I reckon there'll be a yellow flag.
No, look at the weather.
Ooh.
It's just changed. So we're going to have... Wow, this is going to be very spicy because we're going to have 10 minutes of rain. It's going to clear up for 10 minutes. But you don't really want to pit because you're just going to lose position. You're not going to really gain that back in 10 minutes. So... there's going to be a lot of drivers out there on maybe wet tyres. Let's have a look.
Yep, she's all
Let's
wet.
just say she's all wet.
Wet.
So no one's going to gain an advantage, really.
As you said, that is extremely spicy because if there was only 5 minutes to go, it's an easy decision. You're certainly not changing tyres. But with 10 minutes to go, I wonder if any are just tempted, just baited, maybe, to run the risk. Especially those towards the midfield who are not going to lose much anyway. Sort of around P20 or whatever. They're not in the battle for P12. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. Let's get ready.
Yeah, it definitely will be. But as you said, though, as well, like sometimes the rain, it just settles drivers down. They're just trying to survive themselves. They're not even worried about everyone else.
I'm trying to back out of it now. You said there's a safety car.
Oh, there will be. 100%. So last week in Asia Pacific, we had 3 safety cars, I believe. But that was Alton Park, and that's not a super familiar track for a lot of drivers. And if you're in the grass, you're a fair chance of coming back on track. Not great. But anyway, let's get this party started. We might get a bit of...
mate. Give it all you got.
Oh, I reckon everyone's lost you, Mal. According to chat, there's no commentary coming through from Mal, so everyone's just missed the first lap action. Apologies for that.
Oh my
Mal
God!
called it really
That was some of my best work!
And that's why there wasn't any safety car, because Mal wasn't calling it.
Christ! Oh. Oh, there we go! There's death! That's Megan D. She's off, but she's managed to save the car. Don't know what happened there. Middle side by side. No name. Oh, it's not a nice corner. Reese Penfold with the Golden Circle entry. But overall, a decent start to this race. JP and John Sneakers lead the way as they did at Woolton Park. Samwise Holmes P3. Ashland Reynolds has moved his way up to P4. He's up a few positions. Cadillo P5, Hignett P6.
Let us know if you've got Mull back or not, because there's still a little bit of feedback coming from chat that they can't hear Mull, which is why I'm going to step in here and talk you through the rest of this lap. We had an interesting little battle up into turn one between Cardillo and Holmes, and then they battled all the way through Eau Rouge, gave each other enough space, and then that continued all the way down at the end of Kemmel. And that's when it started to kick off there a little bit. Glover won in particular in the Porsche, who went a little bit deep at the end of Kemmel. And now everyone just coming around here, obviously into the bus stop to complete the first lap. Bab gets a big kiss on the bum there from, I don't know who that was. I think it was an Aston Martin there, but it might have been Maddox who got Bab around. And now this will be a safety car.
Please!
Why is everyone ploughing into this car park? Let's all
We need a
sort it
fucking
out.
bulldozer.
And just go around the scene of the accident. That's not how you handle a yellow flag situation, split sunset. But of course, once we start actually getting commentary through to those of you in YouTube chat, the safety car is deployed. I believe we've got your back, Mal. There was one or two in there who can hear you.
I don't know what the issue is now. I found the issue. Thank you, chat.
So
Sorry
everyone
about
out there in chatland, thank you for that critical piece of feedback, because I can hear Mal, but obviously you can't, so there's just a little bit of a technical glitch occurring in the background, which seems to have been sorted out now. But as I said, I just let Mal go about his business. He called you through the first lap so beautifully, and sunset was clean as a whistle. And I just allowed it to happen, and everyone in chat would have been so confused hearing absolute silence as car parks not developing in front of them, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they got some commentary, bang, yellow flags and safety cars.
Well, at least I've worked out that problem. It happened last week, but I couldn't actually track down why, but now I've just figured it out. So thanks, Chad. Some of my best work, just you heard JC, that was just like a patrons-only special stream, my OnlyFans.
It was poetic, mate. I was actually really enjoying it. I was forgetting to read chat while I was having you talk us through the first lap there, and then obviously very disappointing that YouTube didn't get to hear that, because it was quality. But anyway, so John Senekis in the lead now, by the way, has taken the lead. I'm not sure whether Sam Wise was starting in P3. I believe he was definitely up there in the first four, so he's done nicely to be P3. Ashland Reynolds in the Nissans had a good start as well, up in a P4. As I said, a good start from Glover, but then at the end of Kemmel, missed his braking marker and shot off into the outskirts there, and then his rejoin, not particularly suspect, but might draw the ire of the stewards. They might have a little look at it. Of course, a lot of leeway given on the first lap to drivers who are trying to find their way around the track, but rejoins will always be glared upon, and his was certainly one to look at. But there was some really good battles in that first lap. Samwise Holmes and Adam Cardillo were side by side up through Eau Rouge and Radiant. And in the wet, it was super scary. And they managed to get it done nice and clean. But then it continued all the way down the straight too. So good battling from those two. They are P3 and P5 now. But yeah, as I said, that is John Senekis there in P1 behind the safety car. Leading the way in the Honda now. So good start from him in the Marlborough entry. Well, it's not Marlborough, is it? It's Man Boobs. Neither of those are safe for the stream, really.
Not now. We'll fix that after that. Safety car is going to stay out. Still got one car in the pits, another car catching up. So it's going to be a sprint race here as the weather potentially changes. You can pit. I'm pretty sure you can pit. No, you can't pit. Yes, you can pit.
You can absolutely pit. There's just obviously no benefit or loss to it because there's no mandatory pit stop. So,
but maybe the dry tyres. But again, it's only 10 minutes, and honestly, I don't think it's worth bidding for any tyre change in such a short race. Maybe if there's a 40-minute race and there's 30 minutes left, it's definitely worth going in, but yeah, not for this one. Beggar, I can't get that working.
So poor old Babby, after his really good result last week at Alton, finishing on the podium, got a nice little kiss on the bum up in the bus stop there. I'm pretty sure it was Maddox, and that therefore is the first instance of Kovacs on Kovacs action we've seen tonight. It is split Kovacs, by the way. I know we discussed this a little bit last week. I think there's 7 or 8 Kovacs drivers in this split, so there's always a good chance that they come cross paths.
I think there's been an accident on a Rouge.
There is oh no. Oh no. What has happened here under safety car? We had an incident. We had a couple of incidents under safety car last week for Split Sunset, and it looks like again here they have unfortunately gotten in each other's business. There's not a lot of movement happening here too, so not sure what's happened here. Mark Witchell is involved there. It looks like I was going to say it's Godfrey in the back one, but it looks a little different to his livery.
Mike, check to those that are in chat. So, as you can see, I've got camera 2 working down the bottom right corner, but the replay says, you know what, I don't give an absolute shizen. Because I've got some spicy replays to show you here. It's,
We've got them queued up, Colonel Lloyd. We just can't get them to you at the moment, but we're working on that behind the scenes, so have some patience with us as we continue along here under the safety car. And of course, big thank you to Alex Imey, Firelord Racing, coming into chat as he does most weeks and giving you the rundown on which cars are receiving penalties and why. A couple of collisions, of course, speeding at the race start for 89 and 808, so a little slap on the wrist there for those ones caught speeding or out of position. And you can see the replays starting to form up there in camera 2. So again, just a little patience as we start to get those rolling for you. Here we go. So Maddox on the right-hand side in the green car there. Bab on the inside in the Martini Racing. And it wasn't Maddox who gave Bab a touch. It was the BMW behind. So I believe... Where's Bab on the list there? Not sure who that was. Won't try and pick out a name. But anyway, it was the BMW that gave Babby a helping hand. And then you can see here, there's just too many cars coming in here and not seeing the collision. I'm not sure how you miss the fact that there are 8 or 9 cars plastered across the road there, but there was just way too many follow-up boops as those collisions occurred. So that's probably going to get some really stern words from the race director here tonight, which is Gibbo. Callum Gibbons, still recovering from last week at Alton, is now having to sift through the replays with his stewards team up there in the clouds, and there's a lot of work to do there, I'm afraid. But of course it will need to be sorted out in the next 10 minutes, because any penalties that will be handed out will affect the final placings of these cars, and if anyone's affected inside the top 12, they may or may not lose reverse grid pole, so it has to be done So, of course, all our love and prayers to Gibbo and his stewards team. This is under safety car. And, again, just too many cars not paying attention. Under safety car, you should be well and truly focused on being safe. And, again, look, it's just still too many cars coming up here. And, I don't know how you manage to cause a collision under safety car. But, again, tonight, Sunset showing you how it's done.
Hold my beer. All right, safety car is in. We are resuming this race as of now. 9 minutes 30 dash to the finish line for race 1. John Sneakers leads away from brother JP Sneakers. Safety car looks glorious through the pit lane. Fingers crossed we can have a nice smooth running towards the end as they go single file start. Holmes, Reynolds, Cadillo, Hignett, Glover, Vincenter, Blair and Malloy are your top 10. You can just see that spread already. There's still cars waiting to get through bus stop. Which is fine with me. This track is going to be damp for some time. Blair right up in the back of Glover's Porsche. The only Porsche out there. Gets past. I think that's Vincenter. Is he going to make a dash at the end of Kemmel here? He's close enough. I think he can get him under brakes. He might even get him before the corner. Nice move in the McLaren. Glover is not going to say no though, but no dice there for Mr. Shawn as he goes wide, and Vincent is going to snag that position, as does Maddox, as does Malloy. Glover has gone back 4 spots in as many corners, and that's just sometimes the way the cookie crumbles around Spa, JC.
Yeah, good stuff there from Scote. That move up on the end of Kemmel was a really nice one. And as you said, Glover not willing to give it up easy, but wasn't entitled to the corner and eventually had to concede. He's already got himself a penalty too. Nichols has been disqualified. I've just noticed there at the bottom of the board. So looking forward to seeing what caused that. And I believe that was a McLaren in the wall back there. It might have been Withers who's come across it. So the track is now damp. The rain has stopped, so this will be an interesting phase in the race as these tyres really start to heat up a little bit now and become non-optimal. And a little kiss on the bum there too from... Yeah, just a little too deep under brakes there.
I really want to know what's happened there to the disqualification.
So that was Malloy. I think gave Vintner a little help there, unfortunately, and we'll bump past there for Malloy. We'll get a little look at too from the stewards. John here still defending from his brother. Jean-Pierre right there with him. And in fact, Samwise and Reynolds not far behind either. Cardillo as well. You can see there in your picture. They're also followed by Hignett. So this top 6 really close on track with 6 minutes to go.
You can see there's 3 packs forming at the moment. There's been a bit of a drama at the back there. But what have we got here? 6 cars fighting for the lead. 6 minutes to go. I think John's just struggling with this Honda in the wet. It'll be very difficult to drive here in these conditions. On an absolute knife edge. JP's putting that pressure on. Samwise has had a bad run through a Rouge, and Irrational Reynolds is about ready to stomp his authority in that Nissan. As you can see, JP ahead. He's going to look on the inside at the end of Kemmel. He decides against it. Again, we survive brother on brother carnage. And Reynolds is going to be in front. And Samwise has just lost the rears, and in that lost 2 positions on top of the place to Reynolds. It was a great save
though, Samwise. That could have been worse. He's done well to recover that Audi and keep it going straight. You're right, he did lose a handful of positions, but it could have been much worse for Samwise. So crisis averted.
Yeah, these are tough conditions. You can see a lot of yellow flags just popping up. 74 just had a moment. We saw Paul Lean's last lap have a moment. 808's currently around at 2-1, and it's just teleported to the pits. But yeah, for example, Glover, he was P7 and now he's 13th. He's just not having a great fun time in that Porsche at the moment. But he's 1 spot off. No, never mind, he's got that penalty, so he's going to be out of the running for the reverse grid.
Oh, who's not out of running for the reverse grid is Megan D. If she can get past Glover here, which I assure you she will have a crack at. She's only got to go past Papa And pinch P12, reverse grid pole for Megan D on her return would be a very good start.
Oh no!
Oh, who's that going around there?
Just lost himself.
That's a strange spot to go around too. That's basically a straight line that he spun on there. So it's a very interesting spot to have performed a spin there for Cardillo. Look, there's cars diving off everywhere here. Chad Sugden just recovering himself now, and it looked like back there, maybe Rad, someone else. But up the front here, Reynolds is right ensconced in this battle now. Look at him. He's right up under the grill of John Senekis, who's been overtaken by Peach at some point. So Peach retakes the lead. John now P2. Ashlyn Reynolds with the quickest lap in this Nissan is well and truly in this battle. But look at this, back here in the midfield. There are cars falling off the track everywhere. These are treacherous conditions.
A lot of people have come unstuck here. But you just got to soldier on. Hope for some dry racing next race. 4 minutes left. Reynolds is a big chance here. Can he spoil the Senekis party at race 1? He's got a great run through a Rouge. He's going to get John done well and truly before the end of this straight. And he'll have
count out the Honda straight line speed in a slipstream, though. I don't think this is over yet.
You'll get him.
John won't be giving this up. Certainly not down here at the end of the straight. But Ashlyn's going to have the inside for the next left-hander, so you would think that he will complete this move. And John trying to keep that door open, but Ashlyn in the nice wide Nissan says no, so moves up to P2. Nice work, Ashlyn Reynolds.
Another nice battle at the back here. It's either epic battles or epic sadness here at Spa for race 1. 727 is around. That is an Rouge participant. Cadillo, he had the off. I think it was just before Blanchemont. Managed to get his car back on the road. Oh, he's really struggling with that McLaren. It might have a little bit of damage on the outside. It's Robert Maddox with the overtake. Great little opportunistic move there. This is the kind of the battle here for the reverse pole position. So Glover is out. And when with that penalty. Oh, this. Yeah, I want this race to go for longer, JC. This is epic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been very exciting. It's the kind of race where you blink and you miss it. We've only got 2.5 minutes to go. So, as you said, there are battles to watch all throughout the field. This one for the lead is really interesting now because Ashlyn's looked really quick in the wet, but the track continues to dry out, and Page is on a, 47 race win streak or whatever he's on. So, this is a really interesting battle up here with the last 2 minutes. It's probably only one lap to go. By the time they cross the line, we'll be under 2:20. So this will be the last lap. So Ashlyn's only got one more run up the Kemmel Straight to get this done. It'd have to be there, you would reckon. The Nissan's advantage in a straight line is only matched by its weakness in a few other spots. So we'll just stick here as Ashlyn rounds the first bend for the final time and chases Page up through Eau Rouge and Radion. This is where he got a good run on the last lap. It was through Eau Rouge and Radion. He's carried so much more speed than both Page and John. This time he just gets a little wobble happening there and in fact goes wide, so does not get the run he was after. It's going to take a mistake now from Jean-Pierre over the next minute or so. And as I said, he's on such a dominant win streak at the moment. He's very consistent, very clean. So money's on Page to hang on to this one.
Yeah, Page made the most of a Rouge, losing every single bit of the track he could. And rightly so. He's trying to hang on. But the battle down here, this is... anyone can finish on that reverse grid pole position. At the moment, it is Phil Papa. And he's trying to fight off Megan D. See it right here. This is the battle for the front row. But it could be Barney's up here as well. We've got Harrod, we've got Malloy, and we've got Cardillo, who's trying to keep that McLaren in a straight line after a little bit of an incident 2 laps ago with the wall. Oh, it's been one of those races. This bodes well for the rest of the night. These guys have just got to settle down. This is the final lap. They'll get reverse grid. So Zach Malloy's going to put the pressure on Cardillo. He's going to look around the outside. Oh, this is great racing. This is absolutely fantastic. And gets it done. But Cadilla's going to fight back. But not enough.
That's a great move there from Malloy. That's really brave around the
Oh, and here we go.
there.
This is the battle for the lead. They're going to come into the bus stop for the final time for this race. Reynolds, JP Sneakers. Oh, I don't think it's close enough to have a lunge. And JP's going to defend with all his might here. He's going to try around the outside, but there's just not going to be any track given. Defends nicely. He gets a decent run, but JP's going to hang on for the win. Just pipping Reynolds in his Nissan. Johnson Eggers P3 and Benjamin Hignett P4. We try and go further back. We've got to find out who's getting the reverse grid pole. And it should be Megan D has managed to get past Phil Papa on the last lap and picks up the reverse grid pole position for race 2. Huge effort there after an off in lap 1. Well, that's a bright looking car, Sheldon Bub now. I forgot how beautiful that looks. Oh, that's a lot of curb there for John Rad.
All sorts of sausage, John. No.
Oh, Babby around the outside. He doesn't quite get the exit and looks like Penfold of the Reese variety. He's going to pip that position. But there's just battles absolutely everywhere you go.
It's a last lap move from Jared Ellis on Chad Petherbridge. Nice work for Jared there. He'll sneak up into P26. Although he's got a 10-second penalty. That might hurt him. Nice little move there at the end. Joshua Morgan crossing the line here with Chris Withers. Withers hangs on there.
No shortage of action here for race 1 in Split Sunset. That's a lot of damage on a very well stickered Aston Martin. That looks like my fridge.
That's a great one there from John Stockton too, by the way. That is a livery in tribute to the fight against family violence, I believe. If we have a close look at that one later. So
yep.
It's put together a really good looking livery there. Unfortunately, as you said, a little bit damaged at the moment from John, but he comes home in P35 with a 10-second penalty. Michael probably picks up P35 and drops John to P36. Just want to say hats off to the stewards too. You can see how many red lights are up there on the board. The stewards have done really, really good work in the last 10 minutes to get all those penalties out as soon as they could. And as I said, those will affect some of the results, so it had to be done. So big hats off to Gibbo and his team.
Sexiest car on the grid. Look at it.
But as you said, race. What a great first 20 minutes we've had tonight.
Oh, and the start of the race. What a commentating call that was. It's just so. I can't wait to listen to that back. Wow, that was doomed from the start. All right, we wait for the race to tick over to super qualifying, which will be, I think it's 8 minutes.
12, I thought. Or I'll have some milk on it. Why not?
So the top 12 from this race start in reversed order for race 2. Those that finish 13th and down head off to the super qualifying, which will determine the rest of the grid. I love this format. One of my favourites. Something a bit different.
Yeah, agreed. It's my favourite format. It gives me a chance to come back in the second race. I never really shake off the nerves until the first 20 minutes. So the second race is just about perfect for me. Just want to
roll over.
Flick over to John Stockton's livery while we were talking about just previously. So just have a look at him while he's sitting in the pit lane. He'll come out and obviously do his super qualifying. And just want to cast a little eye over that because it's such a good cause that he's fighting for. Everyone out here is obviously just drawn up liveries based on their personal preference. And there's some trying to be funny and there's some trying to be beautiful. John's come out here with a cause. And I love that from John. When he posted it in the Discord, it got a lot of love and a lot of appreciation from all the men and women of OR. So just a quick little look over John's when we get the chance.
You know what? I bet you went the wrong direction.
No, I think he is down the back here somewhere. There he is.
Go down this way. There he is. Oh, grab him. Grab him. There we go. No, that's Ellis. No, he's not.
Oh, I'm bummed.
We've been trolled. There he is. Johnny Stockton. Yeah, white ribbon. Great cause there. Stop domestic violence.
Got the kids' handprints on there. Beautiful stuff. Obviously, a shout out to Simrigs. Got the sponsors on there as well. No excuses.
Absolutely.
Violence against women, never okay. And yeah, well said there by Johnny. Excellent livery. Of course, representing the Worn Tyre Tribe as well. Got their colours on. But overlaying that with a really good message.
Weather widget, 30 minutes rain.
Oh,
no.
it's the last thing they wanted.
Yep. Yeah, they're getting these nice dry qualifying sessions. The track is green at the moment.
They're not even nice dry qualifying sessions. If they were nice, they'd be optimum.
True.
You've got the shittiest kind of dry weather, and then you've got wet weather as well. It's not been sunsets night. Good stuff for us, though. As I said, it made for an awesome first 20 minutes. So we'll see how they go in the next 40.
Yeah, you can see on the timing sheet here. So the race 1 was at 10 a.m. Race 2 is going to be 4 p.m. An hour separates the starts of qualifyings and races. So it's very likely the start of race 2 will be moist. We can live with that. We can live with that.
It'll be Megan D starting from pole. That's a great return for Megan.
Yeah, the stewards have just said that the results in race 1 are provisional. There are a lot of incidents to look out. There's 10 yet to be reviewed. So it's a pretty full-on type of format, the old super sprints, when it goes wrong, because they're all together. Like, really, it shouldn't be any different because the start of the race is the same for every single format. But
yeah, but when there's that many incidents to look at, they do just back
definitely.
up and then creates a bit of a backlog.
Stuff.
And yeah, as you said, it's a huge effort from everyone in the stewards team, but even their heroic efforts not quite enough tonight to get it all done in the first 20 minutes. But hats off to them. A couple of BWS or Dan Murphy's vouchers on the way to Gibbo. He can either delegate those to his team or keep them all for himself.
All right, let's have a prediction. Who's going to snag super qualifying pole position?
I would be surprised if it wasn't Michael Babb, who should have been in the top 12 if not for a collision with the BMW of some, I can't remember who the BMW was, but yeah, Babby well out of position outside the top 12, so I think he'd be the standout favourite for me.
All right. I just said something different. I'm going to say Sean Glover is going to find some more form again in his Porsche. Did qualify P7 in qualifying 1. The rain and the Porsche did not say hello and be nice. So he did drop down a fair bit during that race. So yeah, they're the two predictions we're making, either out of Glover or Babb. What do you reckon, chat? Who's going to snag Super Quali?
Yeah, good shout that, Glover. Is that Reese Penfold out there in the Honda, or is that Rob Penfold in the Honda? I think Rob is in the Aston and Reese is in the Honda, I think.
Reese
would be a bloody smoky too, because he's friggin' quick. And in the Honda as well, he'd be just a cheeky smoky, so we'll leave him in there and make sure we cast an eye over him as he goes about his business.
Tarquin, they're out of the finishes. No one in the top 12 had a penalty. So it was as ordered, and I don't believe there's anything hanging over their heads that I could see potentially at the bottom of that end, but it kicked off pretty hardcore during that race. But it does bode well for some awesome racing in race 2. JP will be starting from 12th position on a God knows how many race streak win at the moment in this split.
Seeing a lot of drivers start to post their times now, and these bankers are coming in, and Babby is 7/10 clear of anyone else who has posted a banker so far. So clearly the front runner here at the moment.
What's he done? 19.6.
So yeah, 4/10 quicker than anyone in the middle sector. He's clearly got a handle on the Aston. And with only 2 minutes to go, this track is not evolving. It is green, and it's as quick as it's going to go. Interested to see how Glover comes across the line here.
Conan in chat, please be wet. Told you it was the one to watch as Glover goes P2, 3/10 exactly behind Babby. Who else is out there? that we haven't seen. Petty Bridges up. Connor Atkins has been a great little shower so far in this season. John Drum, he's currently P5. But yeah, a lot of sadness in race 1 for some of these drivers out there. Man, oh man, says Megan D. You'll be starting P1. Nothing to be upset about. If anything, it's worked out quite well.
Yeah, pressure's on Megan D. Starting from P1. You know what I expect from you.
Okay, Drew, do we think Rain will be starting off for race 2? I'm going to say yes. Also, I win the bet with the safety car.
Was it the first lap? Was it? Yeah, it was. It was bus stop. It was the end of first lap.
Just.
Hey, hang on. No, you know what? Peach and crossed the line, or Peach and John.
No.
The top 10 would have crossed the line and started lap 2.
Yeah, but they weren't even on lap 2, and the incident was on lap 1.
Oh, semantics at play.
Either way, it was the same result. I guess I might call race 2 start then, saying that I had mute on. No, the reason why I didn't hear me, because when I have that the picture-in-picture in the bottom right, on that actual scene, there's no audio input from myself. So that was Taz Productions.
It's interesting that the picture-in-picture runs as its own scene on top of another scene, and it takes over whatever audio direction you're putting through there. I haven't.
Oh
figured
no,
that one out.
it's just I added an audio input as its own thing rather than just give Streamlabs one. And in that scene, I didn't have that source added. Just quietly, Babby is 4 tenths up, but I tell you what, Bang is coming right now. Sean Glover goes. Oh, he's let me down at the bus stop. But it's close, 85,000.
Nope.
And he's backed out because he doesn't get another chance. So you well done, JC. You win a bet. Doesn't happen often.
Take milk on that one. I thought you had me worried though. You said Glover was coming and you were getting excited. I thought you had me.
6 cents up. I just didn't have a great run through bus stop. John Rad.
That's off to Jared Ellis up there in P3 too, by the way. That's a nice performance from him.
Up, sensational. Backing up race. Oh, sorry, qualifying 1. Great little dinky round. What have we got here? John Rad's 2 tenths up. That could get him up a few spots. Who is out there that hasn't set a lap? Corey Williams in the Honda hasn't set a lap yet. So he may move up quite a bit.
Oh, who I'm interested by is who's back here on the end of the track. I don't know when qualifying ticked over to the checkered flag, but the track has now evolved to fast. So if there's any drivers still out there on a lap, especially those coming through that middle sector there, if they can find a 10th or 2 in the middle and last sector because of the track evolution, cheeky little chance someone can really just jump up and challenge these front runners here.
Well, looking at the deltas, we've got Josh Morgan's up 1.7. Josh here's up 1.1. So 1.7, that is going to be 1.8 at the moment, Morgan. It's going to be a big jump. I think Morgan's, it is. He's Sean Glover's teammate in 2T Racing. So they might be side by side to start race 2. Love to see it. He's up 2.3. He may actually get pole here. He is flying, this man. He's 2.9 seconds up, JC.
I don't know if your Delta's playing funny buggers. I don't know about 2.9. That'd be...
Yes, he is, boys! 2.19.1. Get in the bin. Get in the bin.
Track evolution. Let's go. Send all your milk to Morgan. He has pinched pole. Let's go. Nice lap.
Nice lap. Well done. 2.19.1. Gets here in front of Mocklebab there.
No, never mind. He's lost pole. He's got a 2-place grid penalty for a qualifying infraction. Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm taking the milk back.
Oh, and the rain's out. Oh, it's just sadness, disappointment, and tears.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Poor old Morgan has lost his pole position, which, of course, wouldn't actually be pole position. He'd be starting P13 as the top 12 will be reversed and Megan D will be starting from pole, but that would have been a little nook on the shelf there for Morgan, if not for a qualifying infraction. And
He
someone's
had
just
it,
disappeared
and
off
then
the
it
grid
got
there.
taken away.
Someone's just popped back to the pit lane or disconnected. I'm not sure who that was there. That's just disappeared out of the middle of the grid there. It's unfortunate for whoever that was.
They saw the weather and they said, see ya.
I'm out.
See you later.
Is that increasing in 10 minutes or decreasing?
Oh, it's decreasing intensity in 10 minutes. So, yeah. But, as you can see in 30 minutes, there's still going to be rain. It's going to be very, very light. So, wet tyres is obviously the way to start here. And 30 minutes is still raining. There's a fair chance the whole thing's going to be wet. And again, you probably wouldn't want to change tyres in that last little bit. If it does go back to dry and clears up.
Yeah, I do really hope it does become dry in the last 15 minutes and just throws a spanner in the works.
Well,
Maybe.
I don't think that's possible if in 30 minutes time it's still raining and it's a 40-minute race.
Yeah, right.
2 plus 2 is 4. I was wanting to go to quick math.
Clicking.
Sorry.
Slow click. Slow clap.
But, it could still be 10 minutes. It could still be 10 minutes of dry, but based on how the weather's been for these races, yeah, let's get used to calling the wet race. It's going to be content for sure, Matthew Lamb. G'day, Bodie. How are you, sir? We are fantastic in the booth.
Yep, super swell up here. Here's a question
It's
for you.
also dry.
Do we stay silent for the first lap? We just
Absolutely no. No. I'm going to be so boisterous lap one after missing out race one.
If you have just joined us and you missed out on the start to race one, Mull called us off the line, but unfortunately his audio wasn't coming through the stream, and I can hear Mull, so I didn't know that. So all the stream would have heard was dead silence. Absolute dead silence as Sunset did their first lap. And of course there was no yellow flags, there was no safety cars. It was beautiful. Everyone was driving amazing until we worked out that there was an audio issue. And then myself and Neil started talking, and then instantly death, safety cars and taxes, it all happened.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Good old, we jinxed ourselves. But 40 minutes, race 2 here, split sunset for round 2 at the Simrigs Sprint Series. Could be anything. Race 1 had a lot going on across the whole board. Maybe the drivers have just adjusted to those conditions and will be more prepared for race 2, but it is a reverse grid, which does tend to bring some spice. The race director is currently calling through the drivers to set the grid for race 2. You won't miss that one. Oh, I don't like where they're parked. Can you go to the end of the Kemmel? That is not a great spot. You're going to have cars parked across a rouge.
Yeah, but they're all ghosted. That's fine. They'll work it out.
Yeah, but it just gets messy. You got the whole straight. Just go down there. Well, you should have just parked at the top of a rouge.
I'm sure Alex is
Oh,
listening.
wow. Cadillo has just tried to nearly yeet himself. Yeah, there's no need to rush in these formation laps. I think people push a bit too hard.
Yeah, and the safety cars. Sunset definitely has something to learn there in terms of patience and making sure they pay attention to what's going on in their windscreen. Because, again, Alton Park last week and tonight here at the start of this race, it's, the safety car in this race, it's just cars driving straight into non-moving cars. It's like literally like their windscreens aren't working or something. It's just been odd.
We're rolling now. Rolling now. So there's a little bit of a change in the grid. John Drum can't park there, mate. Having some technical issues with his car. That does tend to confuse people. So just keep doing your own thing if you're in another car in this, if that happens. The race director will inform the car with the issue of what to do. I remember this game when ghosting wasn't a thing in formation laps. I swear it used to be a thing.
Wasn't a thing?
Yeah.
As in, like, there was no ghosting on foot.
Yeah, like we're talking early days. I'm fairly sure there wasn't.
That's scary to consider.
I just wish it was a toggleable option. Just don't tell them one race. It's like when you do open lobbies on F1 and you've got assists on, and then you just turn them all off for like a race around Baku, and no one knows there's no assists, and then they're all spinning and smashing. Funny stuff. All right.
It kind of worked out like that when we visited Baku in, what, like 2-3 weeks ago, because obviously we turned the assists from full to medium, and although people were aware, it was certainly an adjustment period. And we went through that at Baku. Yeah. A little shout there from you. It was an interesting night. Safety cars all night long in Baku. I don't think we got more. I think we had more safety car laps than race laps at Baku between all 3 tiers. So
I think that's the round I was away, maybe.
Yeah, you weren't there at Baku.
I love watching the Baku round, always. I'd love GT3s around that track.
Yes. Sure, there's a lot of people who'd agree with that.
All right, mic check. Can you hear me, chat? I've got little picture-in-picture going.
Right, we need a microphone check for Mull, please, chat. He's trying to get through to us. He's got the picture-in-picture up. This is where it caused a few audio issues in the first race, so if you can give Mull a mic check.
My YouTube chat always plays up and gets delayed sometimes, so you let me know if they've said yes.
Copy that.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Much appreciated. All these drivers would love it too. They do some great stuff out on track. Check if they're using wipers or not. That'll be a good one to see what camera they're in. Bender, Bonnercamp, JP, Bonnercamp. +1 to hear me. That is fantastic. Yeah, there we go. Rain will be gone within 30 minutes. So the end of this race is going to be dry. This is going to be content. Simrigs Sprint Series round 2. This is race 2 at Spa, and this is Split Sunset. In the background, they're doing weird things.
That's pretty standard for Sunset. They're doing weird things in the background.
They're up and about. Okay. So through the bus stop. Start line is at just before a Rouge. It's after turn 1. All the other control lines are right here. That's the line. That's where they're going to finish, and that's where the laps change. So, 40 minutes. Reverse grid race. Hope you've all got a beverage. Hope you've got some popcorn. This is going to kick off. I am ready for this. I am ready. Don't worry about 12 fucking meters. Bring on Split Sunset. They're going to be the new content creators here at OOR. 41 cars out there. We wait for the green lights. It is pouring down with rain. And it's Spa-Francorchamps. Here we go. We wait, and it's green lights here for Split Sunset. A very balanced start across the board here. They're going to go 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 up the hill, down towards the start of Kemmel, up towards the start of Kemmel. A few 3 wides, a couple of 2 wides. Overall, solid, but that's not where it normally kicks off. John Sneakers, get off the grass. Thank you. At the front, though, Megan D's had a great start. Herod's P2. It looks like Cardillo's going to make a move on the inside of P3, but it's going to go around the outside. There's absolute mayhem in the background. I only see yellow. I haven't seen so much yellow since I went to the loo. Oh, my goodness.
No.
That is some dehydration in the urine there on the track.
Mental images. That'll be a safety car. Everyone's
that's going to
slowing
be
down here.
a safety car.
Yeah. So I wonder if John being on the grass there just caused a few little visual issues for a few drivers in the backfield there. And once one kicks off, it all kicks off. That's exactly what would have occurred. We'll go grab a replay of that one, I'm sure. Up the front, Megan D had a really nice start and was never really challenged up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Herod was thereabouts, but sort of just let Megan go about her business. But that cost Herod down onto the end of Kemmel Straight, where Cardillo made a nice move up the inside. And I believe he has overtaken and taken P2 before the safety car was deployed. So Cardillo up to P2. But we wait with bated breath to find out what happened at the end of the field. Probably somewhere in the midfield. As I said, I think John there in around about P12, he would have been just on the grass there, maybe not given enough room by someone else. And then, of course, that might have been playing a bit of a distraction for the cars behind. And then one person makes a mistake going at 300 kilometers an hour, and you generally have a lot more mistakes that occur because of it. There is still one car parked back there too, by the way. That'll be the safety car, apologies. The Chevrolet waiting for the drivers to make their way around and join in. But you're right, there was a lot of yellow midway up the Kemmel Straight. It was not a pretty sight.
Can you believe it or not? That was started by a mistake with no other cars involved.
So, here we go. Who have we got our eyes on here? Oh, what's happened there? So Withers is on the grass as well. Withers in the McLaren there has decided to adventure down the grass here as well and give Papa a bit of a helping hand. So Withers is on the other side. Oh, he's just... Okay, so everyone in front has slowed for the yellow flags. Obviously with Papa stricken on the side of the road there, everyone just trying to be cautious on their way through, and Withers wasn't prepared, and of course he hasn't got a lot of vision. You can see how much spray is coming up. There's 4, 5, 6 cars in front, all just throwing up a bunch of spray, and unfortunately Withers...
It's just one of those incidents there, like the visibility's low, bit of change of speed. He's just trying to save the car. He's gone off track to try and avoid, but it's just unlucky that another car was already off track in that spot. And that was what kicked it off. So overall, the driving was good. It's just unfortunate incident you see sometimes in racing.
Yeah, absolutely. The start was really good from the first, especially because the top 12 was reversed. You've got a few slower drivers in front of faster drivers, so it usually creates a bit of chaos, and especially up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. In a dry race, you would expect to be safety cars, but in the wet, everyone just taking it easy and doing their best, and it really was clean as it could be, all the way up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and then obviously kicked off a couple of drivers who we've got in our Sprint Series and other nights, and of course Glenn in the Rookie Series as well. They've posted that there's a pit lane puddle there. So obviously they've done a bit of wet practice. They've got a bit of experience here in the wet at Spa. And they've let us know that there is a puddle around about pit lane, which may be what caused Papa his initial spin.
Phil Papa in the puddle. Yeah, that's very true. Good call there.
Is that Chevrolet floating?
Mate, I was just about to say the same thing.
Well, is it floating along? Are those wheels even turning?
That doesn't bode well for anything. And this is on max graphics on a 3090. I think that Chevy's cooked. Let's get to another car.
Yeah, everyone else looks okay. I'm looking at camera 2. This Audi's going along okay. That's fine. The McLaren, let's look at the wheels here. Yeah, the McLaren's rolling along okay. That looks all good. But the Chevrolet literally looked like it was floating along. Absolutely levitating its way around.
That's one way to do it. We can just see those cars that have pitted for damage just starting to make their way out of the pit lane. Chris Withers is just rolling along now. Car 81. I think 81 was the initial car. Yeah, that's Phil Papa. Probably still fixing damage. So the safety car is instructed, if you do pit on the initial call of the safety car, you are allowed to pit to fix your car. And the car will wait for you. The safety car will wait for you to come back up to the grid. But that is assuming that you can get the car out before the safety car passes you, which is highly likely because it's Spa and there's a slow lap around here is like 4 minutes. So yeah, there we go. Phil Papa is rolling out of the pit lane. 808, 87, 152 and 81 yet to catch the field. I highly doubt it they'll be able to do it this lap. Even if the safety car is setting a pretty slow pace here. What are we looking at? Yeah, so about 90 Ks.
Goat's game has crashed. That's unfortunate. Unlucky, Scout.
Oh, that's not ideal.
Nah, disappointing on your return, mate. Good to have you back, but that is unfortunate for race 2. Not sure if you can reconnect and get back amongst it, but of course, understandable if you're just going to pack it in for the night, having lost probably a lap or 2 now. So, unlucky to you, mate.
There's nothing more frustrating than random little things like that. to ruin your night when you're having fun, or you're having a good race, or you're just trying to get out there. Just PC issues. So here we go. Safety car will stay out for one more lap. I would imagine this will be the last safety car lap. 40 cars remain in this race. 152 is Chris Withers. He's just coming around onto the back of this pack. And 81, Phil Papa, still several corners behind, but he'll catch up pretty quickly. So this bodes well for the round. It's been very wet, very interesting. Dry race at the end here. Who's your pick for race 2 win here, JC?
Well, I'm pretty torn between Megan D and Adam Cardillo, both McLaren drivers, both in my McLaren garage. I've kind of got a soft spot for both of them. So, can I have two answers? Can I say Megan D or Adam Cardillo?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to say one of the two McLarens up the front.
Just hedge your bets. Great to see Matthew Herod and Zach Malloy, P3, P4. It's obviously at the moment with the reverse grid, but they can hold their own. They're quite capable pro drivers on their day. I've seen Matty in particular have some riveting races, but he's got Maddox, Hignett, Holmes, Reynolds, Vincent, Sneakers, Bab, all just not far back. And they could all win this race as well. This is wide open tonight. I hope Jared Ellis can have a nice consistent race here and finish in that top 10. That'll be a good showing. And we've got John Rad in the AM class, 16th at the moment. The 2T Racing teammates of Glover and Morgan, they're 14th and 15th. Wonder if they've ever come together before. Team on team action. Normally that's reserved for Kovacs, but car 81 drive through penalty, unsafe rejoin penalty on lap 1. So 81 is Phil Papa, and he's been absolutely smacked for a rejoin.
So not necessarily the rejoin. We saw him parked up there on the side of the road. Maybe just not holding his brakes, because I'm not sure. We didn't see the replay. Maybe he didn't show the rejoin, what happened in the aftermath, whether he did try and rejoin the track and caused a big kerfuffle. But from what we did see, all he was doing was sitting on the side of the road, so potentially just not holding his brakes.
I reckon there's probably a bit of a throttle input there somewhere they've looked at. Yeah, we obviously didn't look, and he's left. It's unfortunate. Make a mistake and there's obviously a penalty, and if the penalty ruins your race, then it's unfortunate, but that's just sometimes how the nights go. So hopefully Phil Papa can bounce back next round. There's no pit stops here, Thurk, so there we go. If the rejoin was actually Lecombe's chicane, which is a bit later.
Later? Interesting, because the safety car would have been called by the time he got to Lacombe.
Oh, definitely. So there's probably another incident later. Safety car is ending. Yeah, no pit stops for this one. Just 29-minute sprint race now for the rest of race 2 as the Chevy pulls away. It's floating on air. Megan D will lead this field. She has control. Basically from now, if she wants to go, she can go. So we'll go on board with Adam Cardillo. And we wait. I'd be holding them up as long as I could and really bunch them up into this bus stop. And we wait, and she's off. Great start there from Megan and Cardillo. Wasn't caught napping. Her rod's not too far back as well. But it looks like Maddox has had a bit of a slow start. Hignett is going to put the pressure on the outside here. LaSource? Is it LaSource? I can forget.
Yeah, I think it is LaSource. I think that's right.
It's just too many things going on. I'm very keen to see how Reynolds fights his way through the field here from 8th. He looked super impressive race 1 in the wet. Samwise Holmes just back out of that sun. That's nothing good to be gained from there, and he does. Samwise of a year ago would have actually sent it, but he's going to send it anyway, around the outside. Get fucked, Mull. I'll do what I want. Off he goes. Samwise Holmes around the outside. Off track. Hignet's had a bad run through there. He's going to lose another position here to Reynolds. And up the front, looks like Megan D and Cadillo nearly going to side by side, but Megan D holds on. Oh, Reynolds has just already got one position. Hignet's lost 2 or 3 in that many corners. And JP, race 1, race win up P10. But no yellow flags, no PTSD for now.
But that is an interesting storyline here too for Peach, who, as we said, is on a win streak. And generally when we have these super sprint races, he comes from P12 and he wins, but he's got a dry track to do all these overtakes on. Here in Spa, not only has he had his race cut short by 13 minutes due to that safety car, he's got a lot less time to make these overtakes. He's got to do it in the wet as well. So his win streak really threatened here.
Yeah, indeed. But he's showing that he can get those W's in all types of conditions. But this field, and that's no disrespect to last year's field, this field is mighty spicy. He's definitely got a lot more competition, but he is the one to beat at the moment. John Sinakis, his brother, is currently sitting in P13. Didn't have a great start to this race. And Honda in the wet at Spa doesn't sound like a fun time that I'd have. But you can just look, Reynolds is just dialed in at the moment. Oh wow, I nearly cursed him instantly. Holy smokes.
He's hung onto it.
Oh, great save there, Reynolds. You saved me a curse. Oh, just up ahead there was Maddie Herod has made an absolute howler of the bus stop. He's going to lose a position here to Zach Malloy. Oh, Sam Wise with a dink on Maddox. He's going to get the move done at turn 1. He's a brave man doing that in the Audi in these conditions.
I was going to ask what the Audi's like in the wet, because I know it used to be really difficult to drive in the wet. I'm not sure how this new Audi goes about its business.
It's a lot better. It's a lot more manageable. And
still probably not as strong as the McLaren and the Aston. He's got 4 of those up the top he's got to deal with. So Malloy and Holmes both in the Audi. They've got some serious competition in the McLaren and the Aston, both very stable in the wet.
Yeah, one of the least fun I've ever had sim racing was actually in the Audi, the old Audi here at Spa in a wet race. It just didn't do anything that I wanted it to do. I couldn't make sense of half of it. But look
Herod
at this
again there,
gaggle.
a little bit of an issue through the chicane, which invited Samwise up behind him, and it looks like Samwise is just going to pull out alongside. Is he going to send it down? This is a very tricky downhill braking zone, and it continues to go downhill as they wind their way around. We've got 2x2s all the way through. Reynolds and Maddox there side by side as well, but it looks like Samwise has got that move done on Herod. So that is very brave to go down the inside there. As I said, that downhill left-hander continues to get away from you in the wet. It would be even worse. He's done really well there, Samwise, to get that one done. Maddox a little wide there too with Herod as well. Both of those cars down into Pouon, not quite getting that right. Ashlyn Reynolds says, thank you very much, I'll have one of those. Gets one done on Maddox and now moves up behind Herod.
Swarm of cars here. This is just great racing. These aren't easy conditions. And everyone's in that boat where they're really struggling to just keep the car nice and steady, getting great corner exits here, not losing too much speed out of those corners, because you just get absolutely swarmed. Just snowballs with all these cars in such a close proximity. If they can do this for the next 24 minutes, because that will be absolutely amazing. Megan D still leads the way, 6/10 clear of a Cadillo, but this is the battle for P3. Take your pick, JC.
Is quality racing from all involved. Tell you one thing we haven't touched on tonight is track limits, obviously in the wet. Oh, that's Ashlyn Reynolds down the inside. Didn't look like there was an intentional dive. He just carried too much speed into the corner. Didn't quite get his brake marker right, so he did give Herod a little bit of love in his rear quarter panel there. Herod manages to hang on to the position, but Reynolds very nearly causing an accident there. He manages to stay in place, but behind him, as you said, Mal, that is a gaggle of cars that is now led by Peach, who has gone down the inside of Maddox there and moves up into P7. That'll be for Peach. And now it is Hignett and Maddox left to do battle. Maddox in the green Aston there. Hignett here in the BMW, right behind Hignett with a slow start after the safety car. Looks to have recovered his pace a little bit now once he's got these tyres back in their window. So threatening the back of Maddox now, but no match for the Aston in a straight line down the straight. Up in front again, that is Ashlyn Reynolds down the inside, this time getting the move done on Herod. So up into P4 for Reynolds, and now with a chance to chase down Malloy and Holmes in the two Audis. But you're right, Mel, this has been a cracking race so far, and with 20 minutes to go, we are blessed. I'm just looking forward to this rain dying down a little bit now and adding in another chapter. Page again making a move down the inside. This is Herod that he's getting one down. Now, Herod's not willing to give this up in a no-name, but unfortunately not able to get that corner right. In fact, costs him a lot of pace coming out of no-name there. So he's going to come under pressure from Maddox, but down here, Malloy and Samwise doing battle. And the two Audis managing to go through Pouon side by side, and Malloy hangs onto it. Nice one. But Ashlyn Reynolds moving through the field really nicely now. As you said before, Peach has a lot of moves to do, but he's got to move past some really fast drivers, and Reynolds is one of those. And Reynolds up into P5 now, just watching this battle develop in front. That is a nice move down there by Samwise Holmes. The inside gets one done. Nice one.
Yeah, as you're saying with JP, now JP's improved out of sight, especially in probably the last 9 to 12 months, maybe 6 to 9 months, where he's got a lot more patience with things, and he picks his moments a lot better, and it's just working perfectly. He can't do much about the gap between P2, P3. It's not what he's got to think about. He's got to think about the next one, the next one. At this stage, the next one's going to probably be Zach Malloy, and then he'll want to tuck in behind Reynolds and just try and ride his coattails until they maybe bridge that gap. Because Samwise now, he's got a little bit of space in front of him. Reynolds is showing the pace though in the Nissan, and JP is obviously started 12th and absolutely flying. We just quickly cross over to this.
Oh no, Babby. Oof, that's a big hit. So Babby didn't quite get over his rally on right, probably had to come off the gas a little bit to avoid spinning himself up, and the car behind not ready for that. Have a look at this down the Kemmel Straight. We're probably going to have a 3 wide here. Let's go, why not?
Hignett, Malloy, JP, Sneakers. JP's going to be on the outside. I think that's the spot I want to be, because the other two have just got to be very careful not to run across each other's noses. Zach Malloy loses out, and he's going to lose out there. Looks like Matthew Herod's got him as well. No, Matthew Herod's been sent by Zach Malloy. And that's a massive contact into the fence there, the 450. Oh, you can see it happening. They're cutting across each other's noses, and in these conditions, it just doesn't take much. John Sneakers.
We're halfway through.
Maddox takes advantage too, by the way. Sneaks down the inside of that open door. Nice one, Rob Maddox.
Thanks for coming. So Maddox is in, where was he, 8th now? That'll update in a second, but Reynolds, here he is, chasing down Holmes. But look at that gap, JC, between P2, P3, 6.9 seconds.
Yeah, they've really stormed away up the front, the two McLarens. Mind you, it is a good battle here. Cardillo and Megan really well matched. Cardillo currently holds the fastest lap, but it's only by a 10th. So both of these McLarens with really good pace. They're in low 230s at the moment. No one else even close to that. The next best is 31.1 from Reynolds, so a good second behind. Really good pace from the McLarens up the front.
Yeah, they are streeting away at the moment, and as the gaps come down quite a bit, it seems like a lot. Oh, you just sort of see a lot of yellows in the background, just little tiny things happening. Do you think there's time for someone else to get in between that D Cardillo battle?
I do. I think Reynolds has got the pace. We've got 2 purple laps. They've got the same purple lap.
Never mind.
Until Reynolds pinches it. We saw it. We all saw it. We all witnessed it.
Good. That's fantastic.
We don't get to see that very often. 2 cars sharing the exact same purple lap to the 1,000th, and we had it there for a flash as Megan D and Cardillo came across the line. But I was just about to say, if there's anyone who can catch those 2 McLarens, it is Reynolds. Once he gets past Samwise, and of course Samwise no slouch whatsoever, so good luck to Ashland. But if he does, I reckon he's the only one who can catch him, because John and Peach still a little bit too far back, I think, with 10 minutes to go. And of course they've got to pass Reynolds as well, so I think Ashland probably the only one with a chance here as he goes down the inside of Samwise Holmes. The long legs of the Nissan given their permission to stretch, and he gets that one done. So up into P3 now with about 10 minutes to go for Ashland Reynolds to catch these McLarens and make a move.
Yeah, great work there by Samwise. Kind of didn't force the issue, didn't try to defend it too much. Got to understand that Reynolds is flying through this field in that Nissan and didn't hold each other up, so good heads-up driving. Just going through the rest of the top 10. Jared Ellis has moved his way up into P10. He leads the Pro-Am class with Zach Malloy hot on his heels. I thought he was about to get him straight away. But that gap, 4.7, it is coming down. There are 17 minutes to go. But it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. Is that JP's face on the back of that car?
We were told that we had to have a little sneaky glance here. Oh, it is too. No. Who put that there?
I just love how all that is gone. It's fantastic. Great colour combinations as well. I love black and gold. P5 for JP at the moment. D's just gapped Cadillo a little bit, so safely in P1. For the rest of the field, just starting to spread out as well. Just the back. Looks like Mike Crick. A bit of a swarm of cars nearby. Speaking of the Nissan Colt, this man will be up there as one of its priests. Go, you good thing. Oh, that's a bit of damage on that car. That's Michael Manns. Smashed it.
There's a couple of wounded cars now, but they will bring it home, I'm sure.
Oh, apparently it's John's face, not JP's.
Oh, right.
They look very similar then.
They do look very similar. They won't like hearing that.
No.
Just talking before about drive-throughs for track limits. I reckon there'd be a couple pushing though. Cardillo there through a Rouge and Radion looked like he took some liberties, and I think a couple of others now that the field's stretched out and everyone's not battling with each other, there's a good chance that a couple of you can see a couple of cars there just not making the apexes at all. So whilst it is wet and they won't be carrying anywhere near as much speed through there was an update recently to track limits in the wet, so it is much more possible now to get track limits drive-throughs even in the wet. So that may just play a part in the last 15 minutes. So not only have the drivers got to battle themselves and their competitors, they've got to battle the track limits as well.
Oh, see a few cars there. The lead car, and obviously on the exit as well, there's the track limits. But 840, that's Mans. He's got a lot of damage, so he's going to be pushing it uphill here to try and hold off cars. He's currently 19th. He's got Rob Penfold right behind on the Aston. Just got to nurse it around for 14 minutes, because if you pit now, it's good night, Irene. Ooh, Cardillos managed to get it back within 6/10, and you can see Reynolds in the background. 4.2 seconds back. I don't think it's 4.2. There, 3.6, take 6/10 out of that. He's flying, he's coming. So, will Reynolds get in front of these two, JC? JC's super excited, has left. Anyway, that's fine. You get back to me with that drink when you get back, JC. Megan D is holding on. It's led every single lap so far.
I'm back. What do you want? A drink? I got you.
Thanks. I was saying, who's going to win?
Oh, yeah. All right. Now I've got to pick one now. I don't know. Now that's between these two, I've got to pick one. Megan D hangs on. Megan D hangs on her return to the Sprint Series. 2
seconds, JC.
What's this, Ashland?
Reynolds is pitted with 13 minutes to go. I'm going to assume for dry tyres, has he made a mistake here? This is either genius or maybe he's taken the fuel from race one.
Oh, surely that's more likely than changing tyres, because the guys at the front, well, the guys and the girls up the front are doing 2:29s, which is literally only 8 seconds slower than dry tyre times. So you're not going to make up. In 13 minutes, there's no way he's going to make up enough time to contend for the lead in a dry tyre situation. So he must have just taken not enough fuel.
Oh, either way, it is sad story there. Reynolds is a big chance here for a double podium. P2 race 1, pretty sure. And yeah, he's on track here. He was on for P3 and potentially higher. Hopefully we can find out what's happened, because that's just absolutely smashing his position on track. If it's a splash and dash, I think it's still 30 seconds based on the service settings for sprints, because there's no mandatory stop. Oh, someone tell me what's happened. What's happened to Ashland?
Yeah, keen to find out what's happened there. But I'll tell you one person who could tell us, and who didn't join us last week, by the way, is Nissan Villalonga, who's just popped into chat. Hello to you, sir. He'd be in here barracking for Ashland Reynolds, so hopefully he can go find out what the bloody hell he's doing in the pit lane.
Yeah, he should know already, to be honest, being one of the Nissan cult members.
You would think they all just communicate telepathically.
Oh, we have another outage. John's just popped into chat.
I did think that may be a possibility tonight. The Honda is pretty tough to tackle in a dry race, and so the fact he's got to get it done in the wet race. Unfortunately, it's come unstuck for you, John. Unlucky, mate. What's happened?
It must be pretty recent. I swear I saw his name not long ago.
Yeah, I thought I saw that Marlboro livery going around for like 2 minutes ago. I think I popped back in and I saw it. So he's obviously very quickly jumped in the chat after something's happened.
Oh, I found it. All right. I got you, fam.
Here's what happened to John. Whoop, oh, big snap. Unlucky. And the Honda does that. Absolutely. It's got a tendency to do that. The weight transfer in the Honda never really sees it go around in a big wide circle, but if it does snap, it's almost impossible to catch. So John, unfortunately, DNFing from race 2 here. Dries may be quicker, Kyrudin, but I'm not sure he's got enough time to use the dries and catch up. Where is he now?
He's out. Oh my goodness, he's down in P28. They're gonna be quicker, but you've lost all track position.
Yeah, he's not going to make up that much in 10 minutes, I don't think.
Unless he feels these wets are going to just completely fall off, but the track's still damp. They're going to be still manageable. Or even manageable a little bit with greasy. And it's not a long race, so they're not going to scrub too much. So, unlucky there. I'm going to assume the petrol thing. I'm going to assume the fuel is not being taken. Question for Mal: If your favourite track is Hungaroring, what's one thing you hate about it? Oh, that's a good one. That's Chris Withers just getting out of the way.
Lack of overtaking?
No, that's fine. No, the name's fine. I'm not a huge fan of the pit entry. There's something for you?
Watching at straws, really?
Yeah. Look, I love Hungaroring. I'm glad Nathan knows it is my favourite track.
Good to have your questions back too, Nathan. That's what we were talking about last week at Alton Park. We said, where is Nissan Villalonga? We miss his questions. Then bang, straight off the bat. There you go, question. Hello, Nathan. How are you? Question.
We're looking. Speaking of looking, JP is looking at another podium. He is staring down the barrel of Samwise Holmes' rear end. Not something that I thought I'd say tonight. Samwise is 6.1 seconds back from the lead too. So JP is going to need some monstrous jets here to keep that record. But
look
JC,
at this though.
These two could come together and that will just throw the whole thing open.
No way.
Don't try it here, please.
Please, no. Adam, no.
That good man.
He's done well. Oh my goodness. I had my heart in my mouth there, but he's put Megan under pressure.
And look, he's still got a good run.
Absolutely.
Hope you're all
Put Megan
watching
under
in
enough
chat.
pressure. They just got on her mirrors and he made her think about it. She ran wide through her Rouge and Radeon, which has given him the run here down the inside on the Camel Straight. He's made this move a couple of times already tonight, and again, breaks deep. It looks like he's going to make it stick. Nice. Into the lead for Adam Cardillo. Megan will not give this up easy, I guarantee it. They are still side by side. They are still door banging too, I reckon. Cardillo's copped a whack there and is sent packing, so Megan hangs on for now. But a little interest from the steward's room as they gaze their eye over that one.
We'll just look at the back here. These two will catch pretty quickly if the front two keep battling. Just got to negotiate these blue flag cars, which they're doing a fantastic job. Herod, he's in the battle here, but he is a lap down. He was right up in this pointy end, but Spa happened, so he's currently 27th. Oh no, JP! It's JP! Oh, what a save! Oh, he's just lost the rear, or lost the car over a curb, and that could have been a lot worse than it was. That is fantastic car control to save that.
Chris Withers would have had to be aware of his situation there too. Of course, Chris is a blue flag, so not racing for position there with Peach, but he still would have had to been very aware of what was happening.
Wow. Question for commentators. If you've driven in the wet, what's the most fundamental thing you can advise the chat? Throttle control and upshifting. What the revs is everything. Driving in wet, revs. Driving in the snow, you don't drive with your feet. You drive with your gearbox. That's a tip if you've ever driven in the snow. If you drive in a monsoon, it's just close your eyes.
Don't disagree with you on throttle control, but I would suggest that the most important fundamental is smooth inputs on the steering wheel. If you're battling the steering wheel and crisscrossing and throwing it all over the place, then you're never ever going to have fun in the wet. Well, it might be fun, but you certainly won't be fast. But driving in the wet and keeping those inputs smooth, it actually makes you a better driver in the dry.
I think feet would be more important first, though, because if you got those revs through the drive shaft that are going to spin those tyres. It doesn't matter what your inputs are. You're still going to lose the car pretty much, even if they are smooth. It's just, yeah, it's all, the feet are just so important in racing and driving. I think people forget about it a lot. Have you ever driven in the snow? Like, it's a thing I was taught, obviously, early on. Being down here in Tassie and sometimes going out the mountains is you just completely forget about your feet and just use your gearbox to slow down. It's like, oh yeah. And then through life, that just worked out well with everything.
There's Hignett going past Peach there too, by the way. Peach making an error at the end of the Camel Straight through the chicane, went a bit wide, copped a bunch of sausage, and Hignett moved on through. So Peach just having a poor old time of it in the last couple of laps at his least favourite track. Megan D's pulled out a bit of a gap here on Cardillo now after that earlier battle. She's made it very clear that she wants this win on the board, and Cardillo has just fallen by the wayside a little bit over the last couple of laps. An update on Reynolds' pace. He is doing 2:26.1s at the moment, which is 3 seconds a lap quicker than the leaders, but 3 seconds a lap ain't going to do shit for you over the next 2 laps. We've got 2 to go.
Yeah, he's 25th. I'm going to assume that it was, yeah, as I said, fuel, lack thereof.
Yeah, Ashland, a very experienced competitor, so I don't think he would have gone in for tyres. But, you know, experienced competitors probably don't make the fuel mistake either, so I'm not sure what's happened. Nah, let's be honest. We've all made the fuel mistake, even experienced or otherwise.
Oh, definitely. You haven't sim raced until you've made that mistake. We are already saying last weekend I had a 24 on Spa and half the race was wet too. What I saw a lot of people do was playing with the weight transfer. Because of that, they binned it. Yeah, it's... You just snap happy if you don't have that car right in the wet. It's just exaggerated in the wet condition because there's this lack of that mechanical grip. Wets are red hot, slick runners are too cold. So yeah, it's that middle little crossover period. Track is greasy. It'll probably go green before the 3 minutes is up, but it's... Whatever tyres you're on, you're going to finish with them.
Yep, you can see the dry line definitely forming, which would be playing havoc on the wet tyres. They would not like that dry line at all. The wet runners that are still out there will be searching for puddles, just trying to cool those tyres down. But as you said...
Actually, JC, Cadillo's made a mistake somewhere because he's 4.2 seconds back from D. There we go, 4.2. Samwise, 2 seconds back. So, big chance. Samwise may sneak another position. Cadillo, just hang on, mate. Just hang on. Don't do anything rash. I can feel the nerves from here.
That's a beaten up looking McLaren there too for Cardillo. I don't think that kind of damage would have come from the exchange with Megan. It didn't look like that hard a hit. So I wonder if he's had another issue somewhere and found on the wall somewhere.
I think you're right, because there's front damage there and they will side on side, or side on side on. Side by side. We'll go with that.
I don't know if there's any car on the grid that doesn't enjoy damage more than the McLaren. Such an aero-dependent car. I don't know if the Audi is about the similar sort of thing, but McLaren hates any sort of damage. So Cardillo will be struggling now.
It used to be
said,
the
he's
Audi
got work to do.
Porsche, rear diffuser area, rear wing. I used to hate it in this game. Any slight damage in the car will just want to yeet itself off. Villa Long asked, best reward race you can remember. Off the top of my head, that we don't go back to like Spa and stuff. Hockenheimring in the F1s, the old in race. That was awesome.
Mine would be Bathurst earlier this year. Still have wet dreams about that race. Absolute cracker. Really good interchangeable conditions. Lots of fun all day long. Hey, minute and a half to go in this one, so I don't know where Megan and Adam are on track. And if we're on that last lap, she has just crossed the line. So this will be the last lap for Megan D. All she's got to do is keep her composure and bring it home for a race victory on return. She'll be very pleased with that, as will her fans in chat. Jan Tully leading the ring there. Beautiful sunny day at Alton Park for the Ferrari Challenge, which is coming up after this race. We'll get everyone out there involved in that. It's free to join, absolutely no requirements whatsoever. Everyone who is participating in that race, I guarantee you, has never driven the Ferrari Challenge at Alton, so you will be in the same park as everyone else with little to no experience. So go and get amongst that. Join JLS and the rest of the fellas and girls in there. Have a bit of fun.
Yeah, that was one of the sweatiest races I've ever done when the content came out for the first time. We went to Alton Park in the Ferrari Challenge. Got 7 gears of absolute pure skits. It's just
7
unreal.
gears, is it?
Yeah, and you don't use freaking 4 of them.
I was going to say you wouldn't even get to 5th at Alton.
Oh, no, you would. You're out of 3rd before you even leave a corner. It's like a motorbike type of gearbox, the way it revs.
Yeah, right.
It's and you're on edge. Oh no, Cadillo's hit just the outside wall there of no name. Samwise Holmes is sniffing blood. Cadillo, just get it home. This is the final lap. Get that P2.
Oh,
get that podium. He's got so much damage.
Yeah.
Can
he hang on?
I'm worried.
This is intense, and Samwise will see that he's wounded now. He will know there is blood in the water. So Samwise will know that all he has to do is get these next 2 corners right, get the long run on the straight, which he's done a couple of times already tonight, Samwise. He's got a nice run out of a corner and use the straight and the slipstream to get an overtake done. So wouldn't be new to him, this kind of thing. But Cardillo got a nice run out of there. He carried a lot of speed through the apex, and whilst he was a little bit drifty, he certainly carried enough speed to at least have enough to defend out here. Now Samwise is in the slipstream. He is coming. It's going to be close. Samwise is going to have to send it, though. He is still a fair way back, so this will have to be a dive, if at all. He wants this P2. And Cardillo doesn't think he's close enough, so I reckon he's going to hang on. Megan D, on return, will win it. And Cardillo, a heroic performance. Looks like he's come through bus stop and will hang on for P2. So nice work to Megan D on return. The winner of round 2 in the Sprint Series, at least race 2. And Cardillo, nice work hanging on to P2. Samwise Holmes will be very happy with the podium. That's great for him. Ben Hignett in P4 very quietly went about his business. Oh, what's happening here in the bus stop towards the end of the race? Jared Ellis having to give way there to whoever that was in the purple entry. but managed to avoid chaos and collisions. And that poor old purple one's doing donuts for the crowd back there now. Reece Penfold looks like he's come across the line to finish out the top 10, and then back here in the field, still a couple of battles ensuing for the run home.
Yeah, what could have been there for Ashton Reynolds? 20th now, top 20, but was 4 seconds off the lead nearly, and then he had to pit. We don't know if it was just changing tyres or if it was running out of fuel, but I'm going to say the latter. But he did pick up P2 in race 1, so there's some points there. We also had Scott Blair, who was right up in that top 10. He had a disconnect for race 2, so he dropped out. George Casher, I haven't called that name tonight. He's had a solid race. P21. Josh Morgan, P22. A car only a mother would love. So Brock Godfrey and his face is going to finish P22. Mike Crick, solid race as well in his beloved Nissan. He's going to finish 23. And Bishop is going to be the last one to cross the line on the lead lap in P24. And that is Split Sunset done for round 2, JC.
Great stuff tonight. Really entertaining 2 races that we were treated to on your Wednesday evening. That's what we want out of Split Sunset. Great content, and that was just about what the doctor ordered. We had battles all night long. You had weather, interchangeable conditions, side-by-sides. We had a 3-wide dead kennel. It was the bingo card all ticked off tonight.
All right, let's just recap race 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. JP Sneakers picked up the win from Ashlyn Reynolds and John Sneakers. In the Pro-Am class, Zach Malloy, Matthew Herod, and Fu Papa. And in the AM class, John Rad, oh my goodness, Rob Penfold, George Casher.
Nice.
I hope it's Rob, not Reese.
It is Rob.
Excellent. Nailed it. Worth every dollar. Megan Day picks up the win here for race 2. Great work, Megan, on the return. Adam Cardillo has shaken off some of the bad juju and finished P2 with Samwise Holmes P3 in Pro-Am class. We've got Jared Ellis, Zach Malloy, and Tom McDonald. And in the AM class, Reece Penfold, John Rad, John Stockton. And that is round 2 done and dusted.
Nice work, Megan D. Very happy with you up here in the clouds. Chat was right behind you. Had Jan Tully cheering for you all night long, and very pleasing to see you get a win here on your return. So nice work. Very, very strong race. Who the hell is Conan? Please tell me that's not Ashlyn Reynolds.
Yes, Conan is.
It is. Conan thought there was a mandatory. Absolute donkey.
Okay. We didn't have that. We didn't have that in the list, did we?
We did not. No.
No. So, oh well. He doesn't want to mention that one too loud.
We were trying to have compassion for him. We thought it was maybe an error. No, gloves are off now. That you absolute donkey.
So, I wonder at what point of that race he realised that, hang on, no one else is pitting. I hope he probably went into the pit lane and go, hang on, it's already green, the bar. Shit. Oh, well, it
Lessons
happens.
learned.
Lessons learned indeed. Tomorrow night we are off to Spa again for Split Ascari and Split Beckett's. So far, the pick of the splits has been Beckett's out of round 1. Sunset's definitely put their stamp on the map for this round. Next week we are off for round 3. Kota, that's it. Yes, off to Kota. It is a week off in between, so we do have a special event coming up. But yeah, Kota for round 3. Afternoon race is a sprint race, so 60 minutes to one stop. And followed by Monza, which is going to be also the first round of the Pro Series, another 60-minute race. Then the mini endurance at Silverstone, and another sprint at Nürburgring to finish us off as Kyle Army for the last race of the year. But we're going to head off tonight. That is Split Sunset. I'm Neil Alexander, and you've been joined by Jamie Conboy and his corn. And we'll see you again tomorrow night. Thanks, Jason.
Love a chat. See you tomorrow.